today. So every day we start fresh because we can't affect the past, but we damn sure can make a difference today.
Welcome to episode 57 of Shop Talk. Um, we are here to discuss dark matter. I'm Kari, Jennifer's here as well.
Hello.
And it was like a huge part of Melissa's career. Obviously, it was like her first like lead part that she got. And we see fans talking about it all the time on Twitter. So we thought it'd be fun to talk about a couple episodes. We're gonna talk about 112 and 209. Those were actually suggested to us by Jen on Twitter. So thank you, Jen. This was also both of our first times like watching the show.
Yeah.
I mean, I've like read up on it and am like familiar with it because I've seen like clips, but I've never seen a full episode before in my life before this. So
yeah, no, this was, I mean, other than clips, like this was my first time like tuning into this on Netflix, and it was good. I watched the pilot too, just to like get a sense of it. And I definitely like saw parallels to the Rookie.
Yeah, as we usually do with things.
Yeah.
So.
We don't have much news other than the cast has been posting on social media, so be sure to follow them. They're posting some behind the scenes, but also being like vague about it, which I mean, I'm fine with because we're like a month and a half out from, from the show. So
yeah, there's like lots of like, if you had to use like an emoji, it'd be like the shifty eyes one.
Yeah.
Because like you don't really know, but also you really want to know. So
yes. So other than that, I mean, I think we can just dive right into the dark matter recap because yeah, why not? So we do have a brief synopsis of the show. We've done episodes like this before for Castle and the Ugly Truth with Eric in it, so this is kind of the actor specific episode for Melissa and Dark Matter. But if you haven't watched Dark Matter, it's about a group of people in stasis pods who awaken with amnesia aboard the starship Raza. They have no memory of who they are or their lives before the awakening, so they call themselves 1 through 6 in the order that they woke up and left the pods. And the show gives us glimpses of them trying to uncover their identities and what happened to them. And then also on board is a female-looking android who possesses a wireless neural link to the ship. And they then discover that there's a band of mercenaries who are essentially the worst criminals in the galaxy. So it leaves them with the dilemma of continuing their violent path or seeking redemption. And then just some other notes was it aired from 2015 to 2017 with 3 seasons on the Sci-Fi Network. If you're in the US, it was on Sci-Fi. If you're in Canada, it was like on the Space Channel. And there were 39 total episodes. And it also starred Anthony Lemke, Mark Ben David, Jodelle Ferland, Alex Malari Jr., Roger Cross, and Zoe Palmer. And just a little side note, we just found out that Roger Cross was in an episode of The Rookie, 214 to be exact, in Casualties. He was Norman Jenga, so it's really fun to see.
Yeah, super fun. I also know that like Melissa has like repeatedly said she wants like Melanie Liburd, who's not like mentioned in here because she was more like season 2 and 3, to be on The Rookie as well. So manifesting that maybe that'd be fun.
Yep. For sure. Yeah.
So we're just gonna kind of like dive into like, as we usually do with these kinds of episodes, like our general thoughts. For me, I just love how like determined 2 is. Like Melissa's character is such like a badass and yet still like able to have like vulnerabilities, like not so much like emotional vulnerability, but just like she's like in situations that make her vulnerable.
Yeah, for sure.
At least in these couple episodes. And obviously like one of her like major skills is like fighting, or like she's like trained in fighting, which just reminds me of Lucy in the Halloween episode. So like I would love to have more badass scenes for Lucy Chen.
Yes.
Like I just But it's just so insane to me that like, well, I mean, like I was saying before we like started recording, like essentially, I know that there's like the android, but like these people are like not treated like people. Like they're treated almost like robots. Like they have like feelings, but they're not like real feelings.
Yeah.
And so like it's just like insane to me that like two is like quote unquote intellectual property of like the dwarf star. Like she's still a person. Like I did like how we got to learn more about her. That like she has two. Well, okay, two. This is gonna two has two names technically, because
Yeah.
there's like Portia Lynn, but like she was, I guess, named Rebecca before she changed it. Um, and I like how we're able to find out like her. I don't even know, like not really a skill, but like new like just thing about her is like she's able to withstand like injury, but then they have like the I'm just gonna call them flaws because I don't know they're called like nanities or something like they're like
Nanites,
either
yeah.
yeah nanites or like flawed or like unflawed things and so like her like flaws it like makes her tend to be violent but I just like how this was like such like a physical role for like Melissa to like play on the
Yeah. Yeah, as I was watching, I was like, oh my God, this she had to have had a lot of training for this. And
show for
like,
sure.
I mean, her like workout schedule, her like gym schedule had to have been intense.
Yeah, yeah. um and I know that like we got to see like more of like how two and like one interact a little bit more than like two and three, but like I know lots of people on Twitter talk about two and three.
I
Um,
definitely caught a vibe from two and three, but
yeah,
I don't know. In the first episode that I watched, I caught a vibe in two and one with two and
yeah,
one. But
yeah,
to me it was still like, okay. But then by the time I watched 111 or no 112,
yeah,
that vibe wasn't really there as much.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. And then like I know there was like talk again on Twitter of like her character like maybe being like bi. So like I don't know if she ends up getting together with like one of the women on the show. I don't know. But anyway, I just like I don't know. I want to see like a full like relationship like develop or something
Yeah.
like in some way. So like I might keep watching, especially since we only watched um like this one episode of season one and then like one episode of season two.
Hmm.
Um and like I don't know, like I don't like that she is like put in these situations that like make her either like physically like incapable of doing things or like she has to like have help to like get back to a like not really normal state, but like for the sake of this show, like a normal state
Hmm.
of being. But again, I like it's through like physicality that like we get uh get a new side of her character. So, like
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that's like a theme. But then I also notice it's just like a very like the pace is like fast on this show. Like everyone's like moving around and it's like not really like stagnant, which is cool. Um, but yeah, I also just want to know how Melissa manages to look like graceful and pretty after like collapsing,
Yeah.
falling on the ground. It's fine, but she'll still look fabulous, of course. Um, yeah, and I had no idea that like Will Wheaton was on Star Trek: The Next Generation, which was like another sci-fi show. Cause I know him as like he was like obviously when he was like a kid in like Stand By Me, that like 80s film.
Hmm.
If anyone else has seen it, so it was cool to see him. He like sounds the same. Obviously, doesn't look the same. He like sounds kind of the same, in my opinion. But anyway, so that was kind of cool. Even though I played like the bad guy, like no one likes Rook. It's fine. Um, but then like I don't know. I just also really liked how like two is like considered kind of like the captain or like leader of like the Raza.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like the girl power that like gives in like a strong female leader, but then also obviously like the rest of the group like has to go like kind of race to help her out. So it's kind of like you got the high stakes in like this like rescue that they have to kind of pull off. And so I just love things like that. Um, but also I don't want to ever I just don't parasite's just a weird word. I don't like the word. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Ugh. Like, no. Like, I'm sorry for 3. I'm glad they figured it out, but like, nope. Nope.
Yeah.
Didn't like that. But then also random side note, because I always have to mention like something about either wardrobe or hair or anything. But yeah, because like Two's hair is down like more often than not. And so of course she also had like there was like a braid at one point, at
Yeah.
least in like I guess more in like photos that I saw like from the episode, because you don't really
Mm.
because everyone's moving around like so quick. It's not like you get like this one like I mean you get like group shots, but you know it like doesn't like stay on like one character for
Right.
so long that you get to like you know appreciate their full outfit or like their
Well, and
hair
it's
or
kind
whatever.
of dark sometimes
Yeah,
too. I mean, going off of that, I mean, to see like Lucy in like a black leather outfit or, you know, pantsuit or whatever, like let's have it in season 5, please. But I did love how her hair, like, it had curls in it. And like no matter what happened, like she was like it was still perfect. If she was like knocked down to the ground or, you know, like thrown through glass is what I'd seen. Or
yeah,
you know what I mean? Literally like
yeah,
anything, it was still perfect. She also
yeah,
had like kind of a low pony, but then it was like able to be brought around to the side, like sitting on her
yeah,
shoulder. I was like, I would love to see that again.
yeah. Just in like her hair, not that I don't like the highlights that she has or like you know like differentiation in color, but it's just cool that like her hair was like super dark
Hmm.
and like for dark matter.
Yeah, no, like I love the color in the rookie and I love the color in dark matter. I'm just like more curls for Lucy, please. I
Yeah,
mean, obviously she can't have her hair down when she's like on shift like that, but can
yeah,
we see her off shift more? Like
yeah.
that would be great.
Totally.
So, some thoughts that I had while watching the episode, like kind of going off of what you said about like how she is just kind of that boss like um she has that like boss like energy.
Mhm.
I could definitely see her exuding the HBIC energy for sure. Um, and I, like I said before, I had watched the first episode just to like get a sense of the show. And when she walked in while one was trying to figure things out and she like took him down, and then the way
Yeah,
that she was like bossing everyone around later in the episode, I was like, more
yeah,
of that for Lucy Chen, please.
yeah. Well, and like that's how I kind of like picked up a vibe from like 2 and 1 because they're like
Yes.
it's like very like enemies to like maybe something else. I don't know. Because like
Yeah.
I said, we're starting in like the middle of everything in both seasons, so we don't really have a lot of context. So like we kind of get some things, but we kind of are speculating other things. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm okay if someone wants to tell me if they do, if there is a thing, or if they were a thing at one point or something. I don't know if you would prefer to be spoiler free or not, but
I mean, I would like to know. It says on Wikipedia, and this is Wikipedia, but like
oh, did it say? Did I
that
miss something?
character was like recurring or something for season 2, and it never said anything about season 3. So,
Oh,
yeah,
interesting. Okay.
yeah. And I loved how 2 is like the tech genius on Raza, it seems
Like
like.
on for season 3,
Huh?
maybe.
What was
I said
that?
maybe that's how we get like more of like Melanie Liburd on like season 3,
Oh, yeah.
maybe if one is not in season 3. Also,
Yeah.
that's kind of odd because then you have like, well, I mean, obviously they all go by like regular names too, but it's just like then it'd be like 2 through 6. Like then you
Yeah.
wouldn't have one. Like I don't know. It's so
Well, and
odd.
like I'm like, what's Nyx's number? Does she have a number? Like
Yeah, or
again,
if
we
she
came
just like
in in the
Yeah.
middle of it, so we don't know where she comes from. Like I
Yeah.
started watching 209 and I was like, who is hooking up with Rio or Ford?
Yeah.
Like, is we know him? I was
Yeah,
like,
or four,
wait,
yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Which sometimes it's fun to like do that, but then other times I'm like, wait, I should have watched an
So
episode
many.
or two before, like
Yeah,
for
because
some
there's
context.
so many. There's like 6 main people to keep track of.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I love how like she's really the main one like interacting with Android.
Yeah.
But and then also like 3 just seems like an a-hole to me. Like and as I
I
was
got like
watching
so
it,
much like pilot Tim Bradford vibes
yeah.
from 3. Like he's such an ass.
Yeah, as I was watching, I was like, okay, definitely pilot Tim Bradford vibes here. And then like season 2, this like the season 2 episode that we watched, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is more like Tim Bradford like season 2 of The Rookie.
Yeah.
Um, which I mean, the episode seemed a lot like season 2, episode 11 of The Rookie. So
Yeah, that's literally what I put in my
yeah,
notes for like down later when we talk about like rookie similarities. Yeah, it was like, oh,
yeah,
definitely like protective vibes. Like
yeah,
everyone's like racing to get to Lucy in like 211,
yeah,
which is like very much like everyone was like scrambling on the or from the ship to get to 2
yeah.
in dark matter. So
And then yeah, I don't know. I just thought like 1 would be really cute for 2, but like if they didn't get together at some point in the show, I could definitely see 3 and 2 together. This just sounds like I'm just like, I don't know, naming off like different like pairings, which I am, but also just the numbers and
yeah, like you're adding a math, like you're
yeah,
doing math or something.
yeah. But it also like it I don't know. To me, it feels better to call them by these names because that's what we hear them more in the show. And like, I don't know. I feel like when you talk about dark matter with people, like you tend to call them by these numbers slash names
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. I mean, because I know like definitely like 2 is like Portia is
Yeah.
like the I never even knew about Rebecca until it was
Yeah.
like revealed, and I was like, oh, dang, okay. Of course, then
Yeah.
if you like look, it's like I'm gonna assume that like the rest of them all have
They do.
secondary names or
Yeah.
like original. See, this is what I mean. I don't know the order of things anymore
Because
either.
when I heard Rebecca, I was like, wait, that's a new name. And then I was like, does everyone else have other names? And they do. So they technically have like 3 names because like Melissa
2.
has 2, Portia and Rebecca.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so we find out that 2 is integral to the security of the ship and the crew. And you know, they're just like she's system proficient, a capable leader, and that's why she can't be left behind. I kind of feel like that's how Lucy is in The Rookie. Like, you just don't want to leave behind Lucy Chen because I
Yes.
mean that's just not fair.
No.
And I don't know, when she was walking out of the room after like taking back control from the quote unquote doctors,
Yeah,
like
major quote unquote with
yeah,
that.
like you saw the aftermath and I was like, whoa, okay. Like
Yeah.
that is all right, that's something. But then when they were all like like doing the cheers with the drinks, like it was such a family like scene and it reminded me of The Rookie in season 1, like at the bar.
Oh,
Those
really? See, I was
moments and
getting
stuff.
like 208 like vibes
Oh
because
no,
like
I
when they're
was
all
getting
like,
like Rookie season 2 vibes too, but like season 1 is what came to
that's
mind
fair.
for me. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Yeah. And then we also, I mean, we don't have like a lot of like Chenford parallels because, like I said, like we're coming into this like in the middle of everything,
mhm.
so we don't quite know like the full extent of like any relationships or things. At least like from me, like I don't know, like I kind of did like more like generalizations, I guess. And so like for me, it's like when she's like taking stock of things or like well, like how do I explain this? Like how she is or like how she's been versus like what the like scans and like what the technology says.
Yeah.
Like I want like an introspective scene like that for Lucy. I mean, I know she's had some, but like I just want them to like play into the psychology background a little more.
Yes.
Um, but then it's like but then I was like, oh well, maybe it could be like flipped for the rookie. But then I'm like, no, because we've had smaller moments of like Tim's past where Lucy's been the one to like reassure him that like he's okay, or like, it's okay. Like the 214, with that's the most Tim Bradford thing I've ever heard, or like I think it was two, no shoot, is it 216 or 217 when they're in the car and she told him that it's like not his fault about the Caleb situation. I can't remember. It might be two. I wrote 217 in here, but I don't know why I'm thinking it's 216 now. I don't know. Someone else can correct me. Usually I'm right about these things, but I can't think of it today. Um, but anyway, like I don't know. I'm that's why I'm leaning more towards like a maybe like a Lucy being like unsure of something and like needing like reassurance, and like Tim being the kind of sounding board or shoulder to lean on, that kind of thing. So that would be cool. Um, and then obviously, like I had mentioned before, everyone like trying to help to like get to two reminds me of 211 when everyone's scrambling to save Lucy. So,
Yes.
and then I had already mentioned three being like a bit of a jerk gives me pilot Tim Bradford vibes towards Lucy. I don't know if it's like, I'm assuming it's like kind of the same kind of thing where we like eventually grow to like three more, because like you get like more protective vibes like in as we go on.
Yeah.
Um, and again, like I know like that bond between like he and two is like popular on Twitter. And so like I just want to know if more people talk about like two and one and we just like don't see that on Twitter or something, or if we're like
Yeah.
totally off base. Like I just want to know if we're like
Right.
wrong or we're right. I don't know.
Well, and like I said before we started recording, like I don't know, as I was watching like the season 2 episode, I was like, okay, 3 and 2 are more like Chenford, and
Yeah.
I don't know, I didn't see a lot of 1 and 209,
Right.
but like after seeing more of 2 and 3 and like their interactions, I was like, okay, maybe 2 and 1 are like John and Lucy, where they're
Yeah.
just like friendly. It's kind of awkward, but they're more so friends than anything. And
Yeah.
6 and 2 are definitely like Gray and Lucy, which we
Yeah.
need more Gray and Lucy scenes for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, and then I don't know if it's like a stretch, but like we were both kind of feeling like five is very much like the child, like child, like everyone wants to protect her so much, and it's like
Yes.
very much like Tamara vibes a little bit. I don't know. I feel like I'm like way off base in saying that. I don't know, but it
I
just
definitely saw like Tamara and Lucy vibes with
yeah.
2 and 5 in the
There's
first
just like very
episode.
much like a like I don't know. There's just like this like youthful like
Hmm.
I don't know, just like yeah, I don't know. Just that kind of vibe, I guess.
Yeah. So for me, I did have a couple of Chenford like parallels. The moment in 112 when one asks two if she's sure about like taking the job and trying to get Ferris Corp to be their friend.
Oh my
Um,
god, I totally forgot about that.
I don't know, it kind
Whoa,
of
I
gave
missed
me some
that.
major Chenford vibes, like just because there's been a couple of times where Lucy's like asked him if he's sure about doing something.
Yeah,
Um, we haven't really seen that from Tim asking Lucy, but I hope that gets reciprocated or we
yeah,
see it like flipped in season 5.
yeah. Well, you could also almost like kind of be like 213 a little bit of like
Yeah,
Lucy asking Tim if he's like, why he's not gonna take the sergeant's job,
right.
kind of,
Or
but
even
like
in 214 when
I don't
she's
know.
like, "Are you sure that that's the right thing to do?" Like, and they're looking
Yeah,
out the curtain.
yeah,
Yeah. And then I also thought one checking in on 2 and 112 and him wanting to hear about like what's been on her mind. Like, she said the scans that said she's like flesh and blood, but artificially constructed. Like, she's wondering if she has a mind of her own. But like she has thoughts and emotions and she's starting to wonder like how real they are. And I don't know, one had said like, they're pretty real because he's been on the receiving end of it. And she's just like, well, I wonder if every part of me was like designed and manufactured. Um, and I don't know, like he just reassured her like Tim Bradford would and tells her that like
yeah,
it doesn't change how he feels about her. Now that we haven't had yet for Chenford. Hopefully in
yeah.
season 5 they get their shit together and someone
That'd be
says
nice.
that. But I don't know, like one was at a loss for words, and like he even said like he can't pretend to understand what she's going through, and even like talks to her in the soft tone, and I'm just like, that is a total Tim Bradford thing. Like
Yeah.
Tim would do that. So,
Mhm.
and then in 112, when 2/Rebecca goes unconscious and falls to the ground, like one gets all protective, and I was just like, that is a Tim Bradford move right there. Like that I think was one of the bigger moments that I was like, okay, there is definite Chenford-ish vibes with 1 and 2. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah. And then, oh my God, when Rook asked Six like what he would have him do, um, and he mentions like a tattoo on her neck, I just had the flashbacks to 211 because it was like,
Yeah.
regarding two. So
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I just think it's like interesting because like that it's like tattoos are like mentioned or like it's like canon for her to
mhm.
like have that because like in the rookie it's like obviously you can like see Melissa's like actual like
Yeah,
neck tattoo but it's never like brought up.
yeah,
Like there's never like any scene ever like
yeah.
why like if I mean I don't know if it's just something that like
Like Lucy got
they
like in college or something.
yeah, like I don't know if they just don't know how to like factor it in because it's not like they cover it,
Yeah,
with like how some shows like will
right.
cover actors' tattoos
They don't
or
cover anyone's
add,
tattoos.
yeah.
Because like even I think it was in a season 2 episode. It was one that we just watched. I noticed that Titus's wasn't covered up, like on his hand or whatever.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So they don't cover up tattoos. Because
Mhm.
doesn't Melissa like have one on her wrist or something too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it is on her like yeah, somewhere on. I'm doing the thing where I show I gotta quit doing that. No one's gonna see this. But yes, on the wrist, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Um, but I don't know, like 112 and 211 of the rookie are similar, which I love, but also don't because that means her characters are in danger. But like also Melissa kills it
Yeah.
when
I just
she's
enjoy
doing
like
these
the
roles.
inverse numbers too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Same. I am such a weirdo about that. But yeah, so and then also in like 209, like we find out that two's nanites are failing and like she's dying. Um, and I just have the question of can Melissa's characters like catch a break?
I know it's like
Because
she's put through so much
that,
peril. Like
yeah. But like also again, she kills it with the acting. Like she acts the crap out of those scenes and like those episodes.
yeah.
So I mean, I will continue to watch those. I don't like to see her characters in danger, but I do like to see her acting. So,
Mhm.
um, and so then like, her nanites like give her special powers and keep her alive, but they're like powering down. So 3 gets all protective and defensive, and he's like, well, they need to be restored and the robot can help. Um, and two's just like trying to rationalize everything. But yeah, I don't she even like has a solution, and 3 is very much like Tim Bradford and like 211 there. Um, but 211, like obviously we don't see Tim and Lucy together. So it
Mhm.
was interesting to see how like she handled him kind of being like defensive
Yeah.
and rationalizing that. So
Mhm.
yeah, and then just like 2 dies for a minute, but like 6 fixes that and draws blood from the prototype. And I don't know, for a minute I was like, isn't there something that anyone can do? Like
I
before
know.
he
I was
got the blood,
like,
of course.
yeah. Well, it's so interesting to me because it's like there's like blood, and so obviously like blood is like running through like veins, but there's still like all this like artificial stuff.
Yeah.
It's just so like whoa, like I don't know. It's a
Yeah.
little over my like outside of my like realm of like knowledge of like sci-fi things. So, like I've read books, but like seeing it on like a show is like different than like reading.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that was about it for me with like the Chenford-ish parallels.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that there would be more like, I don't know. I guess we'll have to watch the season 3 episode to see, or even just like more episodes of Dark Matter. It's hard to
Yeah.
draw the parallels because like
Right.
it's a sci-fi show and they don't totally know who they are still. Like they
Yeah.
kind of do, but yet they don't. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's more about them like drawing connections,
Hmm.
whereas like the rookie, even though we like learn about their like characters' past and things, it's like they're already like established, you know?
Yeah.
It's like not a thing where it's like they like, you know, have to surprise us with different things for like
Yeah.
each character.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it's cool about Dark Matter, but yeah, it's definitely it's kind of just a different like setup for
Yeah,
like each
and a
show.
different tone for the show
Oh, for
too.
sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, obviously the rookie is a little bit more like comical.
Right.
And Dark
Yeah.
Matter is obviously like sci-fi and everything, but
Yeah.
as far as like tones, like Dark Matter did seem a little bit more like intense and like
Yeah.
action packed in a way. Not saying that the rookie's not, but it's different.
Yeah. It just doesn't really have that like hallmark of like comedy to like balance it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and we also had just like a wish list, like things from the show that we would like to have happen for Chenford. Um, for me, like I said, I kind of like a little bit of like generalizing. Because obviously even like three and six, I guess, like infiltrating the like dwarf tech to like get the what is it? Nanites?
Nanites.
I
Yeah.
can't speak compare. I just really can't say that word. Um for two, like I kind of want either, I mean, I guess they don't Jennifer doesn't have to be canon in order to do this, but just like a scene where like Tim like gets something to help Lucy. Cause like even though, you know, like how like she gave him the audiobook to like help him out, even though it's not like a life-saving thing, but just like getting the like perfect like unflawed parts for two is something that
Yeah.
like some just like higher stakes thing would kind of be nice for Tenford. I don't know. And then obviously I know I had said like an introspective scene for Lucy, but just like I want them to go back to like the whole bio dad thing or like her fertility thing, like, and I want like a parental mention to come back too. Like I just need another like Lucy finding out more about her past. Like there's got to be more connections that like we don't know yet.
Yeah. For
Um
sure.
and then obviously just more badass Lucy Chen scenes cuz like remember I think it was the one where she was like I think she came back and like was Angela told her to like man the control center or something in like season 4 in that one episode. And then like we like didn't see it. So
Yeah.
like and then you have like two who's like this like badass and gets to do all these like cool things aboard Raza. It's like, hi, can we have more like Lucy Chen taking control of things and like showing off a little bit?
Please.
So yeah, again, kind of general because it's like a little more difficult to draw like parallels or like
Yeah.
relate, but just yeah, just something because we already had the protective vibes in both the shows. Like both the shows do that well. I just want something like I guess more like Tim helping out Lucy as opposed to the other way
Yeah.
around, kind of. Because like the Dark Matter did a good job of that, like you know, having
Yeah.
characters help out too.
I think I definitely have that in mind too of like, I mean, Tim is usually the one that like takes on more of the action and stuff, at
Yeah,
least in like the early seasons, which I mean, it makes sense. He's the TO.
yeah,
But it would be interesting to see her kind of have a fight scene or something and him be there to witness that. And either help her or like um like if he's been like kidnapped or abducted or something and he's just kind of there and she has to like fight off the bad guy, like that would be, I don't know, I would really like to see that, just like her in an effort to save him. Um, that would be something that's on my wish list. But also like it's not so much of Chenford like per se, but seeing Lucy, like I said, in the black leather outfit, maybe, or even just like Tim seeing that. I mean, there was even in like season or the episode one, like she had woken up and came out of the pod in like a tank top and like pants or whatever, but then had like put on like a sweater that was like cropped or something. Like, I don't know, I would just like to see more like off-duty outfits for Lucy. Obviously Dark Matter like made two and Porcelain like more edgy.
Yeah.
And I don't think the rookie would do that to Lucy Chen.
I mean,
Maybe
I
when
don't
she's
know.
undercover, but
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I was like, Juicy can kind
yeah,
of be like the like foray into that, maybe like,
yeah.
or
Oh
just
my
not even
God.
like really like edgy, but just like this like outrageous, like extra like confident kind of
Yeah.
thing, you know?
Jim would like lose his shit with that. He'd be like, I don't know what to do with this.
Yes, as would Tim.
Yeah, so then I don't know. I also said I would love to see like either Tim or Lucy, maybe Lucy more so just because I feel like this is more like her personality, like spiral about doing something at work, like whether it's going undercover, a case or whatever, and it's just like tearing her up inside, but Tim being there and like comforting her. Um, that would be something that I would really want to see. I mean, we saw that with like, Lucy and John, like, when Tim didn't pick her to be his aide, and she's like, "But why didn't he pick me?" And he was like, she was going on about that. But it would be nice to see that with Tim.
Yeah,
And I think
like
I've
Tim
mentioned
being
that
there
before.
for it.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and I don't know. I guess just more like action-packed scenes, more like Lucy being a badass, like kind of channeling Portia into, I mean, obviously different universes, way different shows, but like just kind of being like a badass in the sense. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Wasn't her, was Lucy's undercover in season 3? Was that Portia or am I
That was Nova. Nova Lynn.
Nova? My
Yeah.
bad. Nova Lynn. Right. I was like, I knew it was something. Yeah, Portia and Nova. Okay.
Nova
Yep,
Lynn.
I'm with it. I was like, I forgot that connection, but yeah.
So it's interesting how in this she is like the tech wizard. And when she went undercover in season 3, she's the chemist. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
She's just it's very sciencey. And I wonder if that's some of Melissa like bringing that in,
Yeah, I don't know.
like if
Because she's
Melissa.
definitely like knowledgeable about so many things. It's
Yeah.
like insane.
Yeah.
So,
So,
yeah.
did we have any other notes on these episodes?
Nope. But
I,
definitely if you like sci-fi shows
yeah.
or like or at least know more about them than we do so you can like keep up with it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Definitely check out Dark Matter because it's like we had said, it's like action packed. Like it moves fast, but it's
Uh-huh.
like I said, if you know more about, and obviously if you start from the beginning,
Yeah,
then
that would help too.
you'll get a good idea. But yeah, definitely check it out if you want to know what Melissa was doing before the rookie.
I mean, we could obviously start from the beginning, like, but I don't know. I feel like it's kind of fun to just like jump in and not
Yeah.
really know where the characters are coming from, but
Yeah.
also when it's something like this where it's like so much is going on, you kind of, I feel like, have to
Yeah.
kind of watch a few episodes
You need
before.
like a baseline to draw from.
But I mean, it's definitely an easy binge. Like it's 13
Hmm.
episodes, 3 seasons, and the episodes
Yeah.
are 43 minutes long, like on Netflix. So
Yeah.
it's definitely an easy binge. But
Mhm.
yeah, I definitely felt like there were times when I knew like what was going on and I was like, okay, I've got it. And then like the next scene would happen and I was like, now I don't. Like I
No.
don't know what's going on. So, and
Yeah.
it was more just like the lingo because
Yeah.
I'm
That
not a huge science person anyway. So like,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It was just more like the lingo that was kind of tripping me up, but it was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was fun to see Melissa in a like physical, like, more of a physical role.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And just like, I don't know, because like even just like, I mean, I guess it's just character, because like even like her voice was like a little bit not like deeper, but just like had an edge to it as
Yeah.
two. Whereas like Lucy's very, like bright and
Yeah.
happy and well, most of the time anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's the character, but even like sometimes it's too, like her voice changed.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, like it sounds different now than it did like a few minutes ago. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, these two were episodes that, like you had said, Jen, who is at Portia Lane on Twitter, had
Yep.
suggested, and these were ones that like were kind of centered around two and Portia. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, there's definitely more to watch. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, so like I mentioned before, Dark Matter is available on Netflix if you want to check it out. Um, if you liked this episode of Shop Talk, please leave us a rating and review. It really helps out the podcast and we would really appreciate it. You can find us on Twitter at the Shop Talk pod _ or email us at shoptalktherookiepodcast@gmail.com with all of your thoughts. You can find us individually as well. I'm at jstark804.
And I'm at Kari Hyman.
And that's it for us. We'll be back next week with an episode all about Smitty for Smitty Appreciation Week. So that will be fun. It'll probably be laid out more like the Wesley one where we're just talking about like his like best moments from a bunch of different episodes because they don't have a centered Smitty episode yet.
Nope.
For the rookie, which
they should.
They really need
don't.
to. They kind of did with like the Holy Union rep thing, but not totally because it's still had John Nolan in it. So
right. Well, because Nolan had to win. So
yeah. I mean, that's the only logical way. So
honestly, though, I could totally see like if Nolan had to like take a day off or something, or like Nolan got sick, and then like Smitty would have to do his union rep duty for the day.
Totally, just like
hilarious.
Set it all on fire.
Yep. There you go, though. See,
and no one would come back and just be like, dude, what the heck happened?
Yeah. Smitty centered episode. There you go.
Yes. We've wrote it. We've wrote the synopsis. We just need the episode now.
Yep.
Oh my God. Tim just like gives him so many disapproving looks.
Yeah.
It would be great. It would be great.
And then Nyla too. She'd be like, I never thought I'd say this, but I actually miss John.
Yeah.
Because Smitty would be just so outrageous and but that's why we like him, and so we thought it'd be fun to do a Smitty appreciation week.
Yeah, we need to pay tribute to Quigley Smitty. So
I still can't believe that's his first name. Oh
I know, same. I can't believe that his last name is Smitty. Like it's not Quigley Smith or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just cracks me up. But yeah. And with that, we will talk to everyone next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Go get him, boo.